Listen, all of this conversation that we're having behind the scenes now has to happen live in front of the people. Welcome back to my channel, Rahul Desai and Uday Bhatia. I am so excited about today's live stream. Hi,
Hello.
Hello.
guys. These are the films that we're going to be talking about today. As everybody is aware, we do this once every 2 weeks or so when we have enough material to talk about amongst each other. And today's first film, first of all, Rahul, I read your some post on Facebook that you had posted about feeling very dejected about the state of affairs right now
Oh,
when
what
it
a
comes
way
to
to
being a
start.
film critic. What is happening? What has triggered this? This is our constant state of life right now. I understand that existential
Yeah.
crisis. But क्या हुआ? कुछ हुआ?
नहीं
Something
कुछ
triggered?
हुआ नहीं, just weekly anxieties of like being a film critic and opinions not mattering a lot anymore, and Durandar 2 around the corner. So those things, I guess.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm coming. I will be there in Bombay. We'll all hold hands.
Oh right, yeah, you will. Oh,
I,
fun. Yeah,
yes.
nice.
No, I would have watched the film by then, but I will be there for the more difficult part, which is the
Sure, sure.
aftermath, right? Writing
Even
about film is not the difficult part when it comes to things like this.
even Uday is going to be there.
Guys, maybe we should do one like in-person long review.
देखते हैं.
Like
If we are still alive, all good.
it's like sitting at Berliner outside.
हाँ मैं ऐसे ही होना पड़ेगा, मतलब it can't be any other way.
Welcome to the channel, everybody who's joining us gradually. If you are here and not sure what you're here for, this is what you're here for. These are the titles that we're talking about. I have Uday, whose reviews are linked. Well, Hamnet ka review मैंने अभी link नहीं किया because I just read your review, but I linked your Kautar Benhania interview, which was very nice to read. Thank you for doing that in the video already. And Rahul's reviews are already linked in the video underneath if you want to go and read those videos and come back to the stream. Either way, take your pick. Let's first talk about, guys, Hamnet. I'll tell you why. Because I watched Hamnet, I think like 3 or 4 months ago, and I was like, this film has Rahul Desai written all over it. This is going to be a Rahul Desai film. And your bit hasn't come out yet. I can't wait to read. But Uday's piece came out just a couple of hours ago, right, Uday?
Yeah.
Do you want me
to read?
Do you want me to read first an excerpt from the piece, Uday, or do you want to talk about your feelings towards Hamnet first?
I don't know. I can talk about my feelings, I guess.
Okay, look in my eyes when you do this.
I'm avoiding your judgy gaze.
So
Why
that's
haven't you
it.
written about it yet?
I wrote about it long back. It just became a column rather than
Okay.
It's not out.
So I think what I should do it to ease us into this debate that we're about to have on the nature of Hamnet and how Uday feels about the final moment of the film. Let me just read a little bit. So Uday says that Chloé Zhao chooses this moment to play. Now we're talking about the final moment, the staging of Hamlet. Zhao chooses this moment to play the Max Richter composition on the nature of daylight. This is a haunting funereal piece, but extremely overused in film and TV, shorthand for a profound emotional breakthrough. It doesn't help that its most famous use is in Arrival, a film about a mother grieving her dead child. To use this composition with this scene is, to my mind, a fatal excess of caution. Over a moment of ultimate catharsis, the film hovers like one of Agnes's falcons. Hamnet makes no great demands of the viewer. It doesn't need you to take arms against a sea of troubles. It just wants to hold your hand. And that's where you finish your review, which I felt like was a very nicely written piece. I may disagree with portions of it, Uday, but I really liked reading it. Why did you think that moment when Agnes reaches out to grab Hamlet's hand and everybody else follows suit was so desperate it was almost appalling?
Her, I liked. Until the fact that she reached out, I thought that was very genuine. I thought the rest of the audience doing that, and then you hit it with the Max Richter tune at that point. I think that was just like, we will tell you exactly how we want you to cry. You don't have to think about it. There are no other emotions. You don't have to come up with anything yourself. We'll just solve it all for you and make it impossible for you to feel anything else.
Rahul?
It felt like the film got in the way of its, like, I thought, like a fantastic scene. I loved that scene until that very last beat, and then it killed it for me.
You know what's happening here again? I think Uday has seen my face and he's gotten a little more worked up about the scene, and he's being very eloquent about it, I must say. And I really like that paragraph that you just read also. It's really
Yeah.
nice. And yeah, but yeah, I like how passionate you are, Uday, right now.
I will also say that the entire audience that I saw it with, it was quite a full hall for, like, not a very blockbustery kind of film, and
Very
everyone
kind.
was like
Hmm.
kind of moist-eyed by the end, and everyone sat through the end credits. I'm not everyone, but like 50% of the people sat through that, which never happens. So I think it
Yeah.
did affect everyone out there.
Well, that's heartening to hear that there were people who were watching the film, because I did my movie club yesterday on Zoom, and people were talking about, because it was one of the films that we were going to talk about in the club, and some people said that, like, there was just no one in the theaters when they went and watched the film in major cities. So I'm happy in Delhi at least people went out to watch. Rahul, what do you think? Hamnet piece abhi tumhara aaya nahi hai, but kuch to batao.
Yeah, even here though there are not many shows. Huh? Like it's, I mean there are shows, but I don't think, obviously with Kerala Story in theaters right now, I don't think it got enough.
My God, I blanked that movie. That film is a thing, yeah.
I
Yes.
mean we all did, but let's not go there.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, Hamnet, like the thing is, and Ishita was right about this because it's been it hyped up in my head for so long. Like because even you mentioned it. Then last 4 5 months, Ishita has been like, "Oh, Rahul film." It can it can be very self defeating, and
Yes.
obviously it was written on Uday's face from the beginning. In fact, I went to Kerala hoping that Hamnet is going to be playing there. The only film that didn't play there was Hamnet, and I got so pissed that I hated Secret Agent. Like which we're going to talk about.
Oh!
Which we'll talk about. But yeah,
Secret Agent is the film that doesn't want you to want to hold your hand and wants you to take up arms.
I don't
It is
like
so
films
much
that don't want to
parallel,
hold my
not
hand.
so much different.
I want my hands to be
But
held.
anyway, moving on. Yes. Then
I like my hands to be held. Anyway, no, but like Hamnet, the thing is, I was obviously really moved by it, but I've been also very, very invested in the criticism it's been getting in the last couple of months. The entire, like most awards contenders, there's an anti-awards buzz at the same time, people going after the same things, like calling it grief porn and all, which is, I think it is fairly accurate in that sense. It also depends on how you want to feel going into the film and how you decide to watch it. Because I found a lot of things that I maybe resonated with on that. Like I love the fact that it was mostly like a mother story, and Shakespeare's name wasn't mentioned till the last 20
one
minutes.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, one time, like William Shakespeare. That's it. Like it didn't matter basically, and
In the
till
book,
then,
it's not mentioned at all.
yeah, which is crazy,
Hmm.
right? Like it's a big swing, like to do
Hmm.
that because, and also because it's Paul Mescal and he has such like normal people sad boy thing, which he does so well.
He's got the eyes. He's got the Paul eyes.
Yeah, and
Paul
like such
Mescal
a
eyes.
contemporary, he has a contemporary sadness about him, which I
Yeah.
thought worked very oddly. Like it never let you think he's Shakespeare, even when the last scene was going on. It didn't matter. Like it just was about one like man as usual not being able to express himself because men are terrible at it and just turning to art for it. It wasn't about him in the end either, which I really liked. And I love that little moment when all three of them look at each other. It's a scene that's so easy to get wrong, and it
Hmm.
probably did in some moments.
Hmm.
And I know exactly why Uday mentioned also, I didn't like the way she smirked when
Hmm.
the child was going back in, like keep your heart open sort of thing, where she just tells him through a gesture. That didn't work for me. But like I was just so consumed by the concept of like two parents finding themselves through like probably one of the greatest plays written. And we don't know it's that play. We don't care what it is. So I just uh, and it's true that I think the greatest use of that music has been in Arrival. Nothing will ever surpass
Hmm.
it because Arrival was a revelation. You didn't even know what the film was about till that last scene.
Yeah.
That is like that's when you realize that grief was the punchline in that film. Here it was throughout the film. So it wasn't like so obviously this film wears its hearts on its sleeve and all, but I think that's why it's getting such divisive reactions. I think a lot of people aren't comfortable with that, and a lot of people are. And
Mm.
there's no arguing about it. Like I know for a fact that if I know for a fact that if I'd come from any other angle, I might not have liked the film because it is excessive.
Mm.
It does not leave anything. The explosion when she loses her child, so many things. Scenes have been staged to
Mm.
get your tears, and sometimes you see it and you still feel it, and that's what happened to me, right? Like that's
Mm.
I think that happens with most mainstream films that are done well. And I looked at this as a commercial film done well. I didn't want to look at it as an indie or a Chloé Zhao sort of film like her first film,
No.
which was, way more sort of specific than this one. I mean, a lot of things resonated with me when I guess I've forgotten also what I've written in the piece because it's been a blur like last week. But like I think an entire chunk revolved around how comfortable we are with emotions in general, like how comfortable we are with expressing, and how Chloe Zhao chose to take the most obvious fan theory and the most attractive one, and also the most human one, and make a film out of it. Because I mean, it was entirely, it was, I mean, the book also was entirely based on ke ye ho sakta tha. It was
Huh.
entirely one of many theories how Hamlet was written or
Hamlet
whatever
is
it is.
written. Hmm.
And I like that she chose that. You can call it fan fiction, you can call it whatever, but I think the fundamental core of art of such a big thing, like something like Hamlet, coming out of something so common and something so also something so basic as grief, which everyone feels but nobody knows how to express. I think that worked for me. Like I really like that she chose to make the film only about that. It doesn't matter where it, like, even when he comes up with to be or not to be in when he's standing on London, like he's just looking into this. That didn't work for me in theory. Like when I was watching it, I was like, "Kaise? Matlab what? Like the bubonic plague, ठीक है क्या हो रहा है?" But then overall, it just sort of came together for me in the end, and and that's entirely because of her conviction to like turn fan fiction into art.
I really am missing Ishita in this conversation because over the last 1.5 years, we've had two of our favorite hero boys, Paul Mescal and Adam Driver, recite the to be or not to be bit. Adam Driver does it in Megalopolis. I don't know if Ishita has had a chance to watch that film, but like that, oh ho ho. Because
Hmm.
anyway, besides the point, I feel like I agree with both of you, and I agree with everything else that, and it's definitely not an indie film. It is not a small budget film. The amount of money and effort and time they've spent promoting it for the award circuit, Jessie Buckley is going to win that Oscar. So the amount of time and money that has gone into promoting this, it's definitely in indie films don't do this. I just love the how lush it was and how excessive it was and how much it allowed. I know Ash Prakash is saying that they also miss Ishita. The film allowed space to enter it and keep me inside the film, and despite being a Shakespearean origin story, it could have gotten a lot more denser. I like the simplicity of it. I like that it is really like not concerned with being more than a the ordinary story of an extraordinary woman. um Perhaps, or maybe an ordinary, was she ordinary, was she extraordinary? The burden of genius and the burden of being extraordinary is not on Agnes, but because it's the female gaze, it's Chloe Zhao's gaze when she stages those birthing scenes, and she stages two birthing scenes, one in the forest and one at home. She's saying that, sure, this man went on to become this great playwright, but how do you continue to remain, when you have that much grief in your heart and that much loss in your life, you channel it into greatness, you channel it into art. How do you continue to remain ordinary when you're not a genius, when you're not a somebody who's going to be written about for thousands and thousands of years? Where does that pain go then? when you don't have anything to channel it toward. And I think Jessie Buckley was amazing. Did it remind you a little? It did remind me a little bit, not remind me, but it drew the connection with Humans in the Loop, which also Aranya Sahai has a little bit of a texture there towards the end about being the mother being like the daughter of the forest, or things like that. That
Hmm.
connection to homeland. Um, it took me there a little bit, and I recommended that as a parallel watching. But I mean, I really like. I
I
like.
actually
Yeah.
really like that it's also like it's a rare sort of it wouldn't work for me normally, but it's a pro faith film. Like it's
Mm,
a pro spirituality, pro faith film, and a lot of what that last sequence was also to restore the faith of Jessie Buckley's character in her own spirituality, because like that entire thing about her being able to predict things and being a daughter of the forest or whatever it is, and then predicting everything right till her son's death. But
mm,
then him like conjuring him in that last scene just to make her feel that she was right about this too. He did work with his father in the theater. So like it's
mm.
a very sentimentalist approach, but I think to make a pro faith sort of like to have both parents, one of art and one of faith, and sort of connect through something like that, I thought was a very tricky thing to do. Like it's and normally like a character, the reason she's so good in this, and I feel like obviously she might win the Oscar, is also because it's such a kooky character that could have gone, it could have gone sideways, like
Yeah.
because we've seen
Hmm.
characters like this. In fact, like the director herself like acts like this sometimes
Yeah.
for her screenings. Okay, let's do like breathing exercises, let's do this, let's do that. So obviously she's a reflection of that, but like the way Jessie Buckley does it, because her humanity keeps hijacking that spirituality, the grief keeps like absolutely numbing it, and to restore her faith, him restoring her faith, I thought was really all about like companionship and parenthood. So it was for me
And what
that.
a genius casting to cast both the brothers to play
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Hamnet and
Yeah.
Hamlet, younger version,
that's
older
great.
version. They look identical, they look similar. And that kid, Jacoby Jupe, is such a brilliant performer. And he's roughly the same age as the character that he's playing. I think he's 12 years old now. So when they must have made the film, he must have been like 10 or something. Just absolutely astounding acting performance. What do you think of the performances, Uday?
Very good. I mean, expertly done, like so many things in the film. I can't really fault the film really to say that they did anything badly. I think just it's
Hmm.
for me it goes to a level but not beyond that. I think it's just for me it was like it hit, like, I mean, I found it moving and I found it very tastefully done, and performances are like across the board very good, but it just didn't go like it didn't like have that extra thing that puts it over the top for me. But
Yeah.
that said, I think a lot of the scenes will just stick with me over a while. um uh, I know I didn't like the very last beat of the ending scene, but the parts before that, especially when she starts realizing that until then she's been like kind of bitter about his work and him going away and all, but she's not engaged with it. Even at home, you see the daughters are reading out his play, or the children are performing, lines from Macbeth or whatever. And it's only when she goes there and sees the effect that it's having on people around her and on her is she realizes that I had to figure out a way to grieve, and he had to figure out a way, and this was his way. And it just
Yeah.
it took that.
Acknowledging that the grief is
Yeah.
not just hers, it's also his.
Yeah. And that it can turn into something beautiful, that like even she and he, beyond the two of them, like everyone can kind of understand it, like just be
Yeah.
moved by that. So I thought that was really nicely done.
Take your grief, turn it into art.
Nice.
Lovely. Everybody who's watching us right now, please, if you want to hit that like button underneath this video, there's a little thumbs up. That would really help. That really tells people that this stream is worth watching. And also, if you want to read any of the pieces of the film critics, and if you want to follow them on Twitter, unke bhi links niche lage hue hain. So go and open those in simultaneous tabs and read the stuff that we're actually talking about. This here is an exercise to get you to actually read the reviews. We're just sitting here and chatting, but go read the actual pieces that took better part of a whole day to put together per piece. All right, next let's talk about this oh my goodness, I was so mad watching Accused. I was so angry. I
Oh
couldn't
man.
believe the epic proportions of derailment that just happened and then continued to happen with every single beat, every single moment. Nothing lands, nothing works. And it was just really, really upsetting to see somebody like Konkona Sen Sharma being made to do this or doing. I mean, she's great. Like, she's one of our greats. What was Accused trying to do? Rahul? I don't know, man.
Good question. It
What was it trying to do?
reminded me of what a misfire guilty was also. Like
Mm.
same production house, um, complex, difficult themes, but also themes that can be performative if done badly, which it was accused
Mm.
for. And it's a surprise because I really liked Anubhuti Kashyap's Doctor G.
Dr. G, yeah.
I was really looking forward to this because of Konkona and her, and also such an interesting sort of theme. When I saw the Netflix slate, I was like, this can't be bad possibly. It cannot. But yeah, no, it's not only bad, it's actually tone deaf, and that's
Yeah.
worse
Yeah.
because you go through the whole film. The film goes through like almost 2 hours, not realizing that I don't know. Like it just doesn't realize that it's undoing everything it went out to sort of accomplish. Like it just did damage to a lot of to the way we think about a lot of things. I don't think it was a responsible film, and I guess that's also it doesn't help that it was really tacky. Like it just felt like one of those 90s TV productions where the dubbing was just I don't know
So
where
bad.
like I don't know where the dubbing and the sound design was, but it just and this whole Hindi Indian films or NRI films shot in London or shot in UK, doing the entire very gloomy UK palette. Like even I think Hansel Mehta's film did that.
Buckingham Murders.
Buckingham Murders. It's our version of taking revenge for what they how they Slumdog Stone and having that yellow palette. We go there and be like, ah, sun नहीं दिखना चाहिए life में, blue ही दिखना चाहिए. अभी and like this is our like reverse colonialism हो रहा है यहाँ पे भी. So I was like, the film didn't even look good. It didn't feel right on so many levels, which I'm sure you can get into. But it just yeah, it shot itself in the foot again and again. Like to also turn every accuser in that film into a villain was nuts. Like it is crazy. Just because you're saying the woman is supposed to be can be the predator means everyone who's accused her is like like it became a whodunit, which do they not get how wrong that is? Um, yeah, and then mentioning Me Too like that, it's just I can't talk about it.
It was just such a flippant way of talking about something that's actually so serious and so intense. And I understand that, and you say this in your review also, Rahul, that you see the what the film was perhaps aimed
Yeah,
toward, what it wanted to do, what it wanted to say, but none of that comes across, especially in the way they deal with. Sure, we're living in a world in this film where homophobia is not a thing. That's great, wonderful. This is a family that is accepting, at least Konkona Sen Sharma's side of the family, Geetika's side of the family. Lovely, they're having a get together, and things are as normal, quote unquote, if I may, as they can be, as they should be. But what of it?
hmm,
Like, what? How is that just decoration? In the world doesn't feel lived in, the world doesn't feel real, the relationship doesn't feel real, the actors are not comfortable with each other clearly
yeah,
on screen. It's
that's
edited so I don't know what they did. Here, so let me read your an excerpt from your Hollywood Reporter piece, Rahul. Rahul says that somewhere in Accused, there is an interesting film that is reluctant to come forward and be heard. And this has nothing to do with the gloomy English weather, which is more of Hindi cinema's reverse reverse exoticization aesthetic than a genuine atmosphere that supplies the psychology of such plots. It is a disappointing watch, not least because it takes some doing to fumble an unorthodox story starring an emotionally intelligent actor like Konkona Sen Sharma. But she's shaky within the constraint of a tell, don't show formula. Accused seems content, pun intended, only to introduce a thorny topic. It seems satisfied enough with the daring synopsis. The curiosity to cut beyond is constantly undone by the obligation to be watchable, accessible, and performative. I really can't say it better than this. You're making the content and content pun, no, here, that it feels more like this is content, or is
Yeah.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
Uday B.
I don't think Indian Hindi filmmakers should make films abroad. It's just a very blanket statement, but they have shown no capacity to be able to, tell a good story. And good filmmakers have gone abroad and made like really bad films.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should do it at all. Like it's just it kills films sometimes. It's just I mean, Konkona, of course, is like one of our best actors, but she's not good here.
No.
And if she's not good, then the rest of them are going to be, you can imagine how the rest of them would be, because it's just I don't know. It's difficult for me to see why the Anubhuti Kashyap felt that moved to go and make this film, but not in India. Like I'm not, obviously that milieu wasn't really captured. It doesn't feel natural at all. What was the point? Like I'm not saying they shouldn't go abroad or find, new settings or something, but you've got to have some understanding of that, how to shoot it, how to direct actors out there. And it just was, I think, just a misfire very early on. I think the first time that they say like sexual predator, and then there's like music. Dun, 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 dun. I started laughing. I was like, what the hell, man?
I think the music pissed me off more than anything else, like acting performances or whatever. Just the jarring background score that keeps you out of the film constantly, just like pushes back. Through the whole thing, it felt the dubbing was bad, the music was bad, the acting performances were not great. All of it together just does not coalesce even for a single second. What was Sukant Goyal's character supposed to be?
Oh man,
So when they introduce him and he's pretending to smoke a cigarette and watching this match where one child may or may not be his, or that child may or may not be real, was he hallucinating a child? He's the unreliable narrator. Are we going to go through his POV at some point? Are we going to go to the unreliable narrator bit of it? Nothing happens.
He just comes, flexes, and goes.
Why? What does he even contribute to the plot?
Not much. I think apart from shooting, I mean, the only thing about shooting there is having normalizing the same-sex marriage. Nothing, there's nothing. If they wanted to do that, obviously in India it'll be way more complicated. But also they don't want to deal with abuse of power in India, because there they do that. So yeah, I mean, none of it made sense in so many ways. The Sukant Goyal character, and towards the end, obviously that entire spiel and the entire sort of lecture that Konkona gives herself only. Like, I don't think, I mean, I have become the very man, and I know I will not do this. I will not. Who are you talking to? I know there's someone in front of you, but why don't you just put it up on the screen then? Like, if you're going to stage scenes like this, and I see the Netflix algorithm, I see the algorithm.
Yeah.
You want the music to make it look like a thriller and something is happening. There's a sad song when both, and what is the relationship? I don't know. They became Scooby-Doo and partner after a while, trying to find who's accused her. Like having a chase sequence in London, and I was like, what are they? It's a crime drama, basically.
The chase sequence in London when she chases this man, and immediately the car shows up which is being driven by her wife, which is just amazing. What a great moment. This fucking, we're in Inception and Leonardo DiCaprio is being chased and this car stops and it's Saito get in the car, but but the emotion doesn't, even that emotion doesn't translate in the next scene, because Pratibha Ranta is playing that character in such a bizarrely stoic fashion when she's sitting in the backseat of the car with this man bleeding and dying on her shoulder, and Konkona Sen Sharma is driving to the hospital. She's saying, "We're bringing ready the whatever the hospital. We're coming, we're coming." And she turns back to her wife and says, "But why are you here?" And she says, "Because I knew you would be here." And it's just so. I say, okay, so is this a psychopath? Like, is she like having visions in her head? We don't go there also. Why is she so stoic in this moment where you're telling me that this is this young woman who's just come from India? She would be like freaking out in this moment where there's a man dying on her shoulder. And speaking of freaking out, there's a whole subplot about, in her character development, where we know that she's close with her mother because her mother says, "तूने कल phone किया था, नहीं किया था, हमने छोटी सी बात की थी, फिर करेंगे, दोबारा कल करेंगे." But her mother doesn't know that she's gay, that she's married, and that she's about to become a mother, which are such huge things when you're doing character development. These would be the main things keeping the character alive on a daily basis. Somebody for whom family is so important, that you go on to tell us that the most important thing to this character is having a family. And when she's lying about her own entire existence and who she is as a person to her family, that doesn't factor into anything. Like, one cousin shows up and you're like, maybe the cousin is trying to get this relationship to break. Oh my god, it was just so bad. In one scene, when she gets this job at this children's hospital, which she keeps calling the full name of the hospital, something Riverbank Children's Hospital. Stop. And then she gets the job and she's having dinner with her colleague and her cousin, and she calls out to the waiter and says, "Then आज का इन सब का बिल मेरे पास लेके आना, इनका बिल भी मैं भरूंगी." You're sitting at a table at a restaurant, bills don't. It's just dumb things in the film that really just upset me. You're all better than this. You're all better than this. And that's why it's upsetting, because everybody involved in the film is better than the film. Yeah. I really like Dr. G. It was a surprising discovery. That film came without much fanfare, and it just really worked for me. Yeah. Sorry. Uday, do you have more thoughts on Accused?
Not at all. I saw it for this.
Burnt garlic noodles with bindi. Yes, I was like, oh, Ravan Pro.
Oh Max. God, yeah. Oh man, that was
why do it?
Yeah.
And it made me hungry for burnt garlic noodles.
It made me hungry for bindi. I love some bindi.
Well, then the scene accomplished its purpose.
Well, that's really all on Accused. I don't really have anything much more to add to it. It's a very nothing film. It will come and go and not much. And I really hope that Anubhuti Kashyap really gets to make the film that she wants to make soon, because she's better than this. I really hope that she gets to do that. All right, now let's talk about Anubhav Sinha film from 2 weeks ago, because we haven't had a chance to talk since then. Assi. Starring Taapsee Pannu and Kani Khusruti and Mohammad Zishan Ayub in the lead roles. The film worked for me, but it also was. Anubhav Sinha is better than this. Having said that,
no, I think he's exactly this.
That is the main.
And I'm sure he's happy with the film.
I'm sure he is.
This is a very accurate representation of Anubhav Sinha. For me.
It's just we must underline this prominently now for any sort of message bleeding heart film to reach audience that is now watching Dhurandhar. And Anubhav Sinha does this. He did this in, I think, Thappad as well, where one character says ki agar thappad nahi mara to pyar, if you love her, you'll slap her. I think Taapsee's character only says, if you love her, you'll slap her, which is a direct quote from a director giving an interview about his work. And here he does, I don't know if this putting the red screen every 20 minutes is a callback to what Dhurandhar did in the film, but for somebody who's recently watched Dhurandhar a couple of months ago, it does feel like a callback to what Dhurandhar did a couple of months ago, where putting the red screen where you're actually talking facts. You want to talk facts? Let's talk facts. I'll talk facts to you over and over again. So sure, but let me read a bit from yours, Rahul. Rahul says that ironically, that's the second reason Assi is so uncomfortable to watch. If you want to know what the first reason is, go find the review. It is in the description. It feels like the kind of movie that judges you for questioning its tenor. It's also the sort of heavy handed filmmaking that cites urgency and intent if its craft is scrutinized. If it doesn't work, it's as if we can hear a voice say, "It's not me, it's you." For instance, I found the incident too provocatively shot, agreed, and staged, agreed, especially some camera angles, very much agreed. But I know any such reaction might be met with, yes, the provocations are deliberate. It's the only way people will listen. Or, yes, that's how sick the male gaze is. Or, it's time we stop looking away. Or, how can you expect nuance when the crime is anything but nuanced? At another point, a survivor does the math and wonders how almost 35,000 women are subjected to violence every year, enough to fill a stadium, with a resigned smile. At another point, school children are allowed into the courtroom so that they learn of the harsh realities of abuse. Do better than us, the judge tells them. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just I
that
it
scene
didn't
I
work
did
for
not
me.
like.
Yeah, like I mean, I was all wary about the film when it began, and because of the publicity before it, and then when I saw the scene, the way it was shot, and I was like red flag to hey, then to literally red flag started coming like every 20 minutes, and that the only thing that did for me is tell me that 1 hour has passed of the film, 1 hour 20 minutes has passed of the film. It was yeah, whether it's like a reaction to Durandar or not, it doesn't matter because it just does not like
Doesn't
you don't
matter.
need to
Doesn't,
do that.
yeah,
You don't
it
need
doesn't
to do
work.
Yeah.
that. Like you are undermining your own filmmaking, your own talent by basically treating like the audience like there's no screen in between. And like it's crazy that we have to keep writing this in 2026. Like that social commentary, social message dramas. Okay, you have a lot of things to say. You have a lot of anger in you. But are you telling me that every 20 minutes telling the viewer that some rape has happened in the country is going
Yeah.
to do what the film cannot? How insecure are you about the rest of the film? Like
Yeah.
how do you have characters spell out everything like that? And how why do you need to do that? That vigilante track really pissed me off. Like I get that you want to make a point about how self-defeating, online activism and vigilantism is. I'm like, is that felt like another film? That was
Yeah,
not this film, and it was a
yeah.
very bad film, whatever it was. Like that just I don't know. That was Uday, you can take it.
But Kumud Mishra is looking good. He looks like 15 years younger.
What was
I
he
was very
doing though?
surprised.
Like what was Nasiruddin Shah and his like what was the history? Were they like some I didn't
I
get
th-
it.
I think he was like some sort of intelligence officer who Nasiruddin Shah who
Right?
hired
Yeah.
Karthik
Hmm.
Kumud Mishra's Karthik to go abroad and carry out covert operations, and nobody knew about that spy life of his, because that's why Kumud Mishra is trained to be a killer, and that's how he goes ahead and he does all the killings,
Uh, yeah, that
only
that didn't work for me at all.
to be
Like that
killed at the footsteps of a court of law
they just
himself.
wanted that entire track was put in so that Tapsi Pannu's character could tell her, like, give a camera bite saying that you think vigilantism works, it's, and then tell Kumud Mishra himself, do you think this is the way to solve? And then also, like, in the end, have him sort of also pay the price for that, saying it's
Yeah.
a vicious circle. I was like, there are many ways to say things like that. This is
Mm.
not the way. Like, this is, and yeah, it was a very frustrating film for me because I was like, films on both sides of the spectrum are behaving the same way.
Yes.
Like I just don't. I was like, what is the difference? And people who accuse us of saying, तुम politically biased हो, तुम ideologically biased हो, तुमको liberal filmmaking चाहिए, तुमको liberal stories है. ये देखो मेरे को ये भी फिल्म अच्छी नहीं लगी अभी क्या? Like now what? Where to go? I have not like Anurag Kashyap film for the last 5 years. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So just look at filmmaking. You can't like let your own film down like this. I don't care what the ideology is in these films if it's not done if it's done the same way as the other side has. Like what is the point?
It is definitely one of the most heavy-handed films I've seen in years, even by Anubhav Sinha standards. It is very, very heavy-handed. Uday, तुमने लिखा नहीं है, but देखी तो है film.
Huh? I didn't get much out of it, but
Mm.
I completely agree with what both of you are saying. I think it's just a film that needs to underline every point, because Anubhav Sinha has never trusted his audience ever,
Mm.
ever,
Mm.
ever. Even when he's making better films than this, he's never trusted the audience. And I'm sure there are people who will be like, like as Rahul had written, ki the truth is ugly, so a film made on it will look ugly, but a film can still have ideas. You can make it as harsh and as, combative as you want, but it's still, there is still something to be done to make it new, innovative, to make it like, to get the message across in a way. And this just feels stale, the film. Like nothing in it felt like, no scene in it really felt like something that we have not seen in the last decade. Like we've had variations on pretty much all of these scenes,
Yeah.
from the rape to the manhunt to the court scenes. We've seen all of these, and
Yeah.
like very similar stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's and a cast of fairly talented people, but what are they supposed to do? Like this is like, you can't act your way out of this film.
Yeah. Aisha is missing Tapsi Pannu Renaissance era. I did not particularly think that this was Tapsi Pannu's finest moment in this film. In the scene where, they splash ink on her face and then she goes ahead into the courtroom, and that really sort of is how heavy-handed the whole film is. That moment where that lawyer is like, I will not wipe this ink on my face and I will give this final monologue about what is justice even anymore, which I, again, like accused, I see what this film is saying. I understand it, I get it, I see the intention very, very clearly, more clearly than Accused, frankly. It's a better film than Accused, though, even if it might not be what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Much better film than Accused. What is, like, there's a whole, Tapsi does this monologue about what is justice anymore and what does it mean, and we're all going to go back to this, and I have another case that's come, and then something else has happened, and this is the number, this is the figure. And it almost felt like Anubhav Sinha asking, I don't know if I'm giving it too much credit, but asking, what is even filmmaking anymore? This is going to come and go, and we're going to make another film, and we're going to talk about another message, and this is good. Maybe it will work, maybe it will not work. Who cares? What is cinematic achievement anymore? I don't know.
That's storytelling, if there was ever.
Maybe I'm giving it more credit, but I feel like this, in a time where the most simplistic stuff seems to be working the maximum, I'm not mad at this film.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little mad at this film. I liked that it was trying to say that there's no hope. Like, हाँ पता है, like there's no hope, मतलब है ही नहीं, justice क्या award verdict करके क्या ही होने वाला है, कोई तो, like there's nothing is going to change, there's no resolution in the film, which is a good message to have. But oh man, it just beats you down, like it just hits you in the head with that again and again, and it just, and yeah, simplistic films are technically harmless, but this I didn't even feel like it was harmless. Like this wasn't an Amir Khan film. Like those are really simplistic, like the like
Sitare Zameen Par, I couldn't.
Huh. So, and obviously, it's so obviously simplistic. This one is trying to be both. It's trying to be hard hitting. It's only reaching for adjectives. Hard hitting, urgent, ye, wo, and they know all critics will use that.
That's where it falters.
Yeah, urgent चाहिए, hard hitting चाहिए. It's an urgent देखो. मतलब नहीं यार, like we are better than this.
Like Accused is just too nothing. Sitare Zameen Par felt like it was made for a classroom of 12-year-old kids. And this one tries to do this, that, and the other, and it can get it turned into a bit of a frustrating watch. Yes, indeed. Uday, do you have more thoughts on Assi?
Not really. Is this a
not
safe
much to
enough
say.
space to say that I thought the child actor was terrible?
Which child actor? The
kid.
son.
The son, huh?
Oh, I forgot there was a child actor.
Quickly moving on. Next. When you talk about this film that Rahul did not like, Uday, did you like it?
Yeah, very much. I just saw it.
I love this film.
I have no opinion on it.
I love this film.
I don't. I just don't know. It's one of those films I blanked out in, so I have really not much to contribute. I need to watch it again.
You saw it in the bad theater also, no?
I saw it in the bad theater, and then I was late for the next film, so I left 20 minutes before this one ended. Plus, then I realized I don't want to go to another film. I went to eat like beef parota instead. Like we watched it in Kerala just before people lose their shit. But yeah, like it's one of those films I blanked out in. Like I was very impatient and restless through it. I'm sure if I watch it again in a maybe better context, this was the third film of my day also. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not making excuses. I do think it was really difficult to get through, and probably that's the film intention as well.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, you have to be in that state of mind also. I'm not like Uday also, you know.
You have to be pretty clear headed to get into the secret agent. Going back to Hamnet, I watched that film two times because I'd watched it a couple of months ago, and then again I watched it again recently, and I felt like I did not like it as much as on my second viewing, as much as liked it on my first viewing. It's not a two-time watchable film. I was almost like, I shouldn't have watched it. I shouldn't have seen it, watched it. I shouldn't have seen it a second time. But Secret Agent, I think you should watch one more time. Give it one more shot. Kleber Mendonça Filho is a film critic turned filmmaker. Not that that makes him a good filmmaker by default, but there is so much love for cinema in this film that is about dictatorship. It was so nice to see when the split diopter shot homage started to come in. I was like, it was such a joyful thing to observe a filmmaker enjoy his own filmmaking and the craft of filmmaking, and in a film that is not mischievous as it not about a mischievous time as it very calmly tries to put it. It's about a very murderous time in the history of Brazil. And I was really, I like I said, I've said this before also, I love a film that makes me want to read and makes me want to do some own history digging. And I read up a lot about the time, the 70s in Brazil, and I really, really, really like The Secret Agent. And it coalesces in the end. It comes together in the end in a very satisfactory payoff. It does take some time to get there, but when it gets there, it feels very, very good. What I really loved about this film is Fijo's attempt to really emphasize how cross-cultural these stories are. Like, this is not just something that happened in Brazil one time and it's limited to Brazil. All these stories, all these people, all these dictatorial neo-fascist regimes can exist anywhere, do exist everywhere, and that made it very relatable. It even could look like Mahim. So much of the setting looks like Mahim. The house, the clothes, the people, the way they're sitting, talking, dressed. It looks like any coastal city in India as well. Uday.
Before I forget, I should recommend if any of you can somehow find his documentary called Pictures of Ghosts. Wonderful film. It's basically it's about his own growing up and his love for cinema coming in very similar settings as the one that we see in Secret Agent. And great documentary. That was good. Yeah, I thought it was structurally really interesting because I think even I when I went into it, I was maybe expecting a different kind of film, and this one just like it's so like there's so much time before you see a larger picture that you are just like, okay, who is this, who is this, who is this, and it just takes a really long time to settle all those things into a thing, and I think that's like real confidence to be able to do that. Like, that you have to be a good filmmaker and you have to have like enough of interest and stuff to keep people there until like things are revealed. And even then, like, a lot of things are still left a bit open. But yeah, I just thought structurally, I thought it was really, really well written and well sort of put together. Like kind of an anti-thriller, but I don't even know if that's quite the word. Like,
but also similar to Hamnet, if I may draw that parallel, this film is also on some level talking about the power of healing that performance art, or specifically cinema, has. This kid grows up with a grandfather who is a projectionist at a movie theater, and in the end, one of the movie theaters, and this all connects back to his documentary that you just mentioned, one of the movie theaters turns into an actual place of healing, a hospital, and I thought that was really beautiful.
Also, great Jaws shout out.
Oh,
so good.
so much.
So good. So good. I
Um,
let out I clapped. It was so good.
That's that's
Really loved it. Uday, you saw it in Delhi. How much of it is
yeah, yeah.
censored, etc.?
It was censored a bit. I got hold of the original after that and took a look. And the dream sequences one is kind of gone because
The
then it
park.
cross cuts with like a love making scene. So they're just like, we won't show any of it. So they just
Mm.
they just take that fully out. And I think there's one other sequence which they've cut down. Beyond that, no, but it's irritating. The smoking sign thing did not leave the screen once, so I assume that, like, I mean, sometimes I had to look around in the scene ki who was smoking, but it was there through the whole film. I don't think there was a scene that
Very
it left.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I know Rahul has to quickly leave now because उसका 1 घंटे का ही टाइम था आज, तो हमारा 1 घंटा होने लग गया है. अभी जो लोग हमें देख रहे हैं ना, please, you have to do a couple of things, okay? Like, we've spent 1 hour talking to you. Do a couple of things for me. Click the like button underneath this video. That would be great. That's simple and easy. After that, subscribe to the channel so you can help grow this. And if you want to become a channel member to help grow it even further, there's a link also to that under this video. I've noticed that when I do these live streams now, people are more feeling like, these are our friends, I have to support them. So please support your friends and become a channel member. But having said that, follow Uday and his writing on Mint Lounge. I have linked it. There is a wonderful interview he just did with the director of The Voice of Hindrajab, Kauthar Benhania. Go read that interview. I also have an interview with her on my channel if you want to watch that as well, 10 minutes. Rahul's reviews are all on the Hollywood Reporter, but his Hamnet piece is about to come out on OTT Play. But his pieces that are already up, Accused and Assi, are already linked in this video. His Twitter profile is linked in this video. The best thing you can do is follow everyone on Twitter so you can get everybody's reviews and recommendations in real time as they come. My name is Sucharita. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Rahul, and thank you, Uday. And I am coming to Bombay in a few days, and we were going to go to Berliner and have a nice crying session together.
yeah. Berlin has become double its size, so we will do that.
Done.
Chalo. See you, boys.
See you.
Bye.